All right, all right, all right. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Come on in, come on in. When you come in, please let me know you're here. I'm not going to be on too long tonight. Uh, just trying to share it and get some people in. But as you come in, say hello. If you are a sharer on Facebook, please share this. If you are not a sharer, I understand. All right, all right, all right, all right. I see some people coming in. When you come in, say hello. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know you can see me. It looks like I'm moving in slow motion, but maybe not. Happy Wednesday to you. I know that we changed days. Hey, Crawford. I know that we changed days, but hey, we're here. We'll be here on Wednesdays. Hey, Kiara, we'll be here on Wednesdays from here on out. So mark your calendar, change the date. We're gonna move to Wednesday for this. I'm not gonna be on long, so like it, love it, share it, tag somebody. There we go. Oh, Crawford, Crawford, Crawford. I'm trying. I am trying. I'm trying. Listen, listen. I see some people coming in. Hey, Sister Amanda. Glad to see you on here this evening. Good evening to you. I see some people. Come on, love it, share it. If you're not a sharer, I understand. But hey, do me a favor and tag some people. You can tag some friends. You can tag builders, pastors, church planters, leaders, ministry workers, ministry leaders, supervisors, managers, entrepreneurs. Get them in here. Get them in here because I'm not going to be. Oh, Pastor Shirley, you say you can't hear? Uh oh. Crawford, can you still hear me? Pastor Shirley says she can't hear me. Can you hear? Okay. I'm not sure what's wrong. Okay, Crawford can hear me. I just turned my other device up to make sure I could hear on my other device. Pastor Ray, I don't know. I'm not the tech guru, so I can't tell you. I cannot tell you. All right, come on, come on. These numbers are coming up, but they coming up real slow. I know everybody was looking for me yesterday. Thank you, Kiara. Thank you. Everybody was looking for me yesterday, but hey, you got to change up every now and again. So we're going to be on Wednesdays uh, for the duration, unless. Thank you, Sister Amanda. We're going to be on Wednesdays for the duration, unless the Lord says something different. But come on in, come on in. I see the numbers going up. I'm not going to be on here long. Hey, Jackson, how are you? I'm not going to be on here long. And I know y'all say, yeah, you say that every week, but no, I, I, I got my note cards. I am not going to be here long. Turn device up. And if you have an iPhone kit, that button on the side that silences your phone. Is that for me, Ricaria? Hey, Coretta, how are you? Good to see you on here. All right, listen. All right, we're about to go. I'm gonna give you two of okay, those were Pastor Ray. Okay. I'm gonna give you tonight. I rarely, well, I'm not gonna say rarely, but on live, I rarely give out any of my sources on live. I rarely do that. Hey, Pastor Angela, how are you, Pastor Piggies? We are gonna be with her next. Wait a minute, this is August. We'll be with her this month. I was about to say next month. This is August. Great, great, Pastor Ray. Great, 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 great. All right. Rarely do I give when I'm on live. Rarely do I give any of my sources out, any of my go-tos out. But I'm going to be generous tonight because I'm going to read from two different things, and I want to be able to give you some tangible resources that you can look up or go out and purchase yourself. Doesn't matter. But this says in my book, Serving Well. Um, one of my tips is great leaders are great learners. Great leaders are great learners. John Maxwell said, growth is the great separator of those who succeed long term from those who do not. As time goes by, the gap that separates those who grow intentionally and those who don't widens. If you're young now, you may not see a gap. As you age, you will. It is the capacity to develop and improve their skills that distinguishes leaders from followers. So, the short answer is that if you want to be a leader, you need to keep growing. Hey, Oliver, if you want to be a good leader, you need to keep growing. That Good evening, evangelist. That came from John Maxwell's book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. That's a good resource. Y'all see, I got my little tab in there. That's a good resource. Another good resource that I just started this week is You Win in the Locker Room First, the 7 C's to build a winning team in business, sports, and life. This is a great book by John Gordon and Mike Smith. Mike Smith is a former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, you see, I already got stuff. Let me show you. Look at this. When I say I use resources, I do. I do. Um, I want to talk tonight about communication. I want to talk tonight about communication. I'm going to be very quick. Hey, Sister Deborah, I'm going to be very quick. I don't know what's going on with my eyes, but now I can't see with my glasses. Listen, maybe the Lord healed me and I just missed it. But tonight I want to talk about communication. John Gordon, who is the author of the book that I just showed you. Thank you, Rakira, for putting that in the chat. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show everybody the three books in 1 second. John Gordon says, where there is a void of communication, negativity will fill it. Fill the void with great communication. I want to say that again. Where there is a void of communication, negativity will fill it. Y'all know when people don't know something, they make stuff up. When people don't know what's going on, yeah, come on, come on. When people don't know what's going on, they make up stuff. People will make up things about people simply because they don't know what's going on with that person. Lord have mercy. And so when there is a void of communication, then negativity has the opportunity to come in. So you have to fill that void with great communication. All right. You got to fill it with great communication. Number one, your communication should be clear. Your communication should be clear. What do I mean by this? When you get ready to communicate, think about it. What are you trying to convey? What's the message you're trying to convey? What takeaways are you hoping the recipients will walk away from? What are they going to take away? Whether they're reading your email, whether they're sitting around a table in an office, what takeaways are you hoping that the recipients will walk away with? Think about your audience. Now, this is going to be good. Think about your audience. Think about the recipients and decide on the best way to communicate. I'm going to pause right there. Decide on the best way to communicate. You have to consider your audience. Hey, Tracy, enjoy your time away. Catch the replay when you get back to Memphis. Go have fun. Listen, listen. You have to consider your audience. You have to consider the recipients of the communication. If you don't consider your audience, it could go right over somebody's head. Mm-hmm. Your communication must be clear. When we communicate, we should communicate with the aim of people understanding the communication the first time. I will say, this is me saying it. If someone has to ask what I meant by what I communicated, this is me. I didn't communicate it effectively. If you have to ask, if you communicate something with someone and they have to ask you, help me out, help me understand that. Not because of their processing, but because they have no idea what you just said. Then we have to work on our communication. In your communication, being clear, get straight to the point and avoid using words that will muddy the message. You have to communicate in such a way that your message is not lost in interpretation. Keep in mind, everyone processes differently. Everyone process. You can say the same thing to 5 different people, and those 5 different people will hear 5 different things. You have to consider. You have to consider your audience. You have to consider your recipients. Everyone does not. Everyone does not have the same communication style. And so if we know that everyone doesn't have the same communication style, then we know everyone doesn't have the same processing style. So you have to know your audience. My mom, many of you who know my mom, she was an educator for 30 plus years. She was in the classroom for 30 plus years. When she was in the classroom, I was in school. And I got a chance to get to school early because she had to be there early, and I got a chance to stay late because she had to stay late. But one thing I noticed about teachers during the era that I was coming up in school, teachers did not teach based on their style. They taught based on the children's learning style. They recognized that every child is different. Every child has, hey there, Assistant Pastor Angela, everyone has a different learning style. If you're going to be a great leader, you have to know who's on your team. You have to know their strengths. You have to know their weaknesses. You have to know their learning style. You have to know it. I make it my point to know people that are working with me. Hey, Dr. Shale, I make it a point to know people who are working with me. Why? Because I'm gonna use some of my people on here. If Rikiria is a visual person, if she's a visual learner, I will probably send some type of picture. If I have to email her, I'm gonna send her some type of picture. If I cannot find a picture to send to her, then I will just have a face-to-face conversation with her so that I can show her what it is I'm conveying. Kiara said, most different from today's time. Yes, yes. If Kiara is an email person, she likes to communicate through email or text message, and I keep calling her on the phone. That's not her communication style. That's not a. If I wanted to stick, let me go ahead and send her an email or a text message. I'm gonna call her with what I'm trying to tell her, and I know that's not her communication style. So while I'm telling her, 9 times out of 10, her mind is on something else. Like, why does she keep calling me when she knows I prefer text? I know we don't want. I know. And being a leader, you have to be flexible. You're not going to be able to appease everybody all of the time. But when you're implementing something that requires you to communicate and you need it to happen, communicate based on people's styles. Consider your recipients. Consider your recipients. All right. All right. I'm going to move on. I told y'all I'm not going to be on here. Communication must be concise. It must be concise. I say it all the time. Less is more. When people come and ask me a question and I know they're fishing, I answer their question and that's it. Why? Because less is more. Don't come ask me a question because you're trying to see what I know. You're not going to get it. Anyway, that's another sermon for another day. Concise. Less is more. When you're communicating, keep it short and sweet. Concise communication gets right to the point. It causes people to pay attention and decreases the chance of the recipient scrolling down to the bottom of the email to see what you said. It keeps people from daydreaming while you're giving a long lecture. Oh, you're giving a long lecture on something that could have been an email. I know I'm not by myself. Have you ever been called for a meeting, whether it was a church meeting, whether it was a meeting for your job, whatever kind of your meeting for your organization, and when you get there, you're like, this could have been an email. You want to avoid builders, church leaders, pastors, entrepreneurs, team leads. You want to avoid wasting people's time to come where you are to sit down for something that is really an email. You lose momentum like that. When you allow something that should have been an email to become a whole meeting, you lose half your people. So now the next time you call a meeting, they're going to be thinking in their head, I wonder if this could have been an email. Y'all real quiet, but it's good. It's good. Communication should be concise. Here we go for my pastor friends, for my preachers. Avoid using a lot of words that people will need a dictionary in order to understand it. I know. We've turned ministry into a competition, and everybody is trying to be the most eloquent preacher and the most eloquent speaker, and they're trying to sound, like this great, grand, and wonderful person. And we're using all kind of verbiage that our recipients, those who are receiving the message, they have no clue what you're talking about. They have no clue. They have to look up words in the middle of your presentation to see what you're talking about. Seminary teaches you to preach on the third grade level. My God. Preach on the third grade level. Teach on the third grade level. If we use a lot of big words and we're trying to convey something so simple, people, attention spans are already short. And with the age of technology, when you can just click a button and be here and then click another one, you're in Africa, attention spans are shot. They're shot. You have to learn the art of communication and the art of engagement. If you're going to captivate an audience, if you're going to captivate a group, you have to know the art of communication. You have to know the art of execution and delivery. Because if not, you'll be up there a whole hour and people tuned you out after the first 30 seconds. Clear and concise communication ensures that all parties understand the assignment. That's what we want. We want people to understand the assignment so they can carry it out. If I leave a meeting with you and I have no idea what the assignment is because of how you presented it, nothing is going to get done. People have to understand what it is they're supposed to do. And if my communication is not clear, if it's not concise, if it leaves no room for question, then I need to call everybody back and we need to start over. All right, I'm already on number 3. I told y'all I'm going to be on here long tonight. Consistent. Communication needs to be consistent. Being consistent or consistency involves repetition and frequency. Good communication involves you repeating yourself. One of the most difficult lessons I had to learn years ago when I started leading, my thing was, I'm not repeating myself. Everybody is an adult. I am not repeating myself. In some sectors where I was leading, everybody has a degree. I am not repeating myself. Oh, that was the hardest lesson I had to learn. You're going to have to repeat yourself. If you want to be successful, if you want your team to be successful, if you want your ministry to be successful, if you want your leaders to be successful, if you want your business to be successful, you're going to have to repeat yourself. It's nowhere around it. Consistency requires repetition and frequency. I have to repeat the same thing over and over for it to stick. If you are communicating something to implement or change a policy or a procedure, you are going to have to repeat it until they get it. You have to repeat it, especially if you are changing something. If you are implementing something new, you have to repeat it. You have to consistently revisit it. And then after it appears that everyone has it, go back and do refreshers. Go back and do it over with the same people who have learned it and they are doing it. Go back and do refreshers. I do refresher trainings with my team at my job. Why? Because we tend to navigate back to what's comfortable. And if what's comfortable is not what I'm supposed to be doing, then I'm doing it wrong. It's on me and the leader, though. If the leader is implementing repetition and frequency and they keep revisiting it to make sure you are equipped to do it. Hey, Pastor Crockett, if you are equipped to do it and they come back and say, let's go through it again a couple of months later. And then now I have to take ownership that I'm just not doing the new policy or the new procedure. But if you tell me how to do something one time and we're getting ready to implement it and you never come back and revisit it, me as your leader, I can't fault you for not doing it properly. One, I did not provide repetition with you to implement something new. A lot of times we give people an assignment that they've never done before and we just throw them out there. No, sir, no, ma'am. No. Because I cannot hold you accountable to something that you did not know how to do. I can only hold myself accountable as your leader because I did not equip you to be able to be empowered to do what it is I've asked you to do. A lot of times, and I told y'all, I get in trouble every week. A lot of times, leaders only want to take ownership of successes. Oh, but great leaders learn how to take ownership of failures. We can't celebrate ourselves when the team has done a good job and we succeeded, but then get on the people when it's a failure. And then as a leader, we say, no, it's not my fault, it's their fault. No. They're following you. It's your fault. We don't like to take it. You got to take ownership of the success and the failure. Pastor Cam, you have to take ownership of the success and the failure. A team is only strong as its weakest person. And if as your leader, if as your supervisor, if as the owner of the business, I know who the weakest person is, I need to spend more time with that person. We don't want to do that. We don't want to take that time. I've already shown them. You have to show them again. You have to show them again. Think about it. When you learned how to ride a bike, they didn't just show you one time and boom, you were doing it. No. When you learn how to drive a car, they didn't just show you one time and boom, you got it. When you go through orientation and training on your job, they don't just show you one day and push you out there. No, what do? They provide days of training. They provide weeks of training. They do the procedure, the standard, and then they allow you to go through some mock examples. They say, how would you do this? What would you do in this situation? If this occurs, what should you do? They don't just throw you out there. Why are we throwing people out there in the church? No, equip your people. Equip your people. I told y'all, anytime Transformation U is going on, I'm going to talk about Jesus. That's me. Okay. You already know. Why do we just throw people out in the church and tell them, go do this, never sitting them down to show them this is how you get this done? It makes me cringe when someone is doing something in the church and I know they don't know what they're doing. And then the leader gets up and openly rebukes them for something that they never showed them how to do. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Show them how to do it. Show them how to do it. Something may be simple with you, but it's not simple to everybody. I've been in church all of my life. So doing church is simple for me because I've been in church all of my life. I don't pastor people who've been in church all of their lives. So guess what I have to do? I have to show them. We did an altars worker class. As a matter of fact, the altar workers class refresher is coming up. We did a whole altar workers class. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You said, well, all altar workers do is stand there and catch people and pull a sheet. No, that ain't all they do. That's the problem. That's all we think. It's more to doing altar work than just catching people and putting sheets on them. It's so much more. But if you never take the time out to explain all of that, you have people working the altar and the altar is just filled with chaos. Everybody's on top of everybody. And then we get upset with the microphone because we're trying to pray and we're trying to flow and everybody's right there at one time. And now we're getting frustrated and we're over the mic openly rebuking people. Move her out the way. Move him out the way. But no, stop rebuking. Show grace, because now God has to show grace to you as the leader because you never showed him how to do it. Yeah, Kiara said it's more than that. Pastor Shirley said it's more than that. Yeah. One of my gifts, one of my ministry gifts is teaching. One of my ministry gifts is developing strategies for leaders, developing strategies for churches to help things flow. I had one pastor to tell me, I talked to them several occasions, and I would ask, hey, do you have this for your church? Do you have this on paper? Do you have this on paper? And every time they would say, no, I don't have that. I say, hold on 1 second. Give me your email address. And I send it to them. So they finally say, you have everything on paper. Exactly. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not reinventing the wheel. If it's working, I can give you a template. How can I give you a template? Because I have it. When I first started pastoring, the Lord said, put everything on paper from start to finish. If you come up and you don't know the person that runs your video ministry, they call and say, I'm not coming, I'm sick. No need to panic. Just go get the book. Ask somebody, hey, come. I need you to sit with this camera. Here's how you do it from start to finish. Number 1, turn the power on the camera. Number 2, make sure nothing is in the lens. Make sure nothing is in the view. I mean, from start to finish. From start to finish. I got it. And people used to say, why are you writing everything down? Listen, because as we grow, I won't have to necessarily stop and go teach a class. Why won't I? Because it's already on paper. And people who are functioning in that area of ministry, they can take the paper and teach the class. And when the class is finished, they speak the same language that their pastor does. Why? Because everything was laid out for them. Yes, sure, delivery will be different, but the information is the same. I can't hold anybody at Yielded Transformation accountable for something that I did not teach them. I can't. I cannot. That's it, Evangelist Dorothy. I'm old school. I write stuff. I told y'all I have index cards. The same thing that's on these index cards are they're in my iPad. So if I leave home and I don't have my index cards, if I don't have my iPhone, if I don't have my iPad, it's in my iPhone. I don't leave, because you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to help somebody. You never know. What you do at your church, what you currently do at your church, you should be doing that too at your place of employment. I say it all the time. I don't stop being a pastor just because I go to work. God didn't call me just to be a pastor at church. He didn't call you to be prophetic just at church. Oh my. Woo. He didn't call you just to display hospitality at church. No, you are who you are wherever you go. If you're not, if who you are at church is not who you are in the marketplace, then that's hypocrisy. We don't want to hear that though. That's hypocrisy. Okay. I'm done. I'm not. I'm not. So your communication. Let me go recap. So communication should be number one, it should be clear. Number two, it should be concise. And number three, it should be consistent. Clear, concise, and consistent. And I tell people at church, I say, I know I said this already. I've said it 1,000,000 times, but I'm going to say it again. Why do I keep saying it again? Because I want to make sure we get it. Don't just communicate with who's following you one time. When you communicate it, make sure it's clear, concise, and to the point. Make sure it's consistent. Once they have it, give them about 2 months. Go back and revisit it. Say, how is it going? How is this plan? The plan that I gave you, is it working? The process that I gave you, is it working? Remember, because processes should always be fluid. What does that mean? Easily changeable. Processes, they don't need to be concrete, because we live in an ever-changing world. The world is ever evolving. People are growing and maturing. When you keep something the same, I'm about to get in trouble. When you refuse to change for the sake of growth, you're positioning yourself for whatever you're leading to die. Whatever you're building is going to die. If you don't change, if you don't restructure, if you don't reorganize, if you don't reprioritize, you're positioning yourself for whatever you're leading to die. I know we don't want to hear it. Example. No, this is the way we've been doing it for 75 years. For 75 years over here at Mount Nebo, that's how we do things. And we're not changing. It worked for us for 75 years, and we're going to keep on doing it with 6 members. Why? Because there's no growth. There's no movement. There's no development. We're doing the same thing that 3 generations ago they did it. 3 generations ago. This is how they started. 3 generations ago, they didn't have social media. 3 generations ago, people did not have access to education like they do today. So if I don't want to change, then what I'm saying is I don't want to grow. And if I don't want to grow, that means whatever I'm doing is going to die. I know we don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. That's the reality. I read in the beginning, leaders should always be learning. You should always be learning. You should always be developing your craft. How do you do that? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you. Everyone who's on here, what have you done today to help you grow in the area that you're leading in? What have you done today? What have you done today? What have you done today? I want you to think about it. You don't have to tell on yourself. You don't have to put it in the chat. But I really want you to think about, how have you invested in you today? How have you invested in your gifts today? How have you invested in yourself as a leader today? And this live doesn't count. This live doesn't count because this happens every week. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. Because 9 times out of 10, 80% of everybody that's on here, 80% is not taking notes. I give 20% probably taking notes. So this doesn't count as a growth moment, because if it's a growth moment, it's going to be intentional. You're going to come ready to write. You're going to come ready with your phone, type in. And then once it's over, you're going to continue to study it. How are you growing as a leader? You say, well, I'm not in a leadership position. All right. If you have children, you're in a leadership position. Evangelist, how did I know you were one of the 20%? I know it. See, you got to know your people. You have to know those who labor among you. I'm telling you, Evangelist Dorothy J. Hill Davis is an educator to her core. Lord have mercy. She is. Listen, how are you investing in yourself today? How have you invested in yourself? How have you invested in yourself? What did you intentionally do to help yourself grow? Okay, leaders, what are you reading in addition to the Bible? What are you reading? You say, I'm a leader. I'm over the praise team. I'm over the youth ministry. I'm a leader. I pastor a church. I planted a church. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own business. What are you doing to help yourself grow? What are you doing? What have you picked up to read today? Great leaders are great learners. You want to learn how to communicate effectively? Read more. Read more. You want to become better at what you do? Research it and read more. Oh, you want to become a better Christian? Read the Bible more. See how everything is coming back to reading? Because what you ingest is what's going to come out. What you ingest, that's what's going to come out. If I want to be successful at this thing called life, I need to go to the thing that will help me become successful. That's the Bible. That's God's word. If I want to be successful at living a saved life, I need to go to the manual, which is the Bible. If I want to be good at leading people, I need to get some resources in addition to the Bible, because the Bible shows you how to lead. In addition to the Bible, I need other resources. That's for those who came on late. I read a little bit from this. This is John Maxwell's Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. John Maxwell is actually one of my mentors. Anything by him, get it. You say, well, I don't know what to get. If you see John C. Maxwell on it, you're good. Just pick it up. Go ahead and get it. John C. Maxwell. Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And then this was I didn't read from it tonight. I was going to, but that'll open up a whole different direction. This is You Win in the Locker Room First. The 7 C's to Build a Winning Team in Business, Sports, and Life. This is by John Gordon and Mike Smith. Mike Smith is the former coach for the Atlanta Falcons. This is a great book. Hey, Prophet Corey Smith. So good to see you on here tonight. Yeah. Kiara, this is a whooping for sure. I don't want it to whoop you. Yeah. I just wanted to put a little fire behind you. If you want to be effective at communicating, read more. If you want to grow, you want to expand your mind. Your mind is a muscle. We will exercise. We'll go to the gym. We will do intermittent fasting. We will increase our water intake. We'll do all of this stuff to make sure the muscles in our bodies are at peak performance. But we forget our mind is a muscle. You got to exercise it. How do you exercise it? You have to exercise your brain by doing things that are going to challenge your thought process. My mom, another educator, another reader, when she started getting older, she said that she wanted something. She said everything is so high tech now. She wanted an iPad because she wanted to do one, she wanted to learn how to use it because that was causing her brain to exercise, and two, she wanted things like crossword puzzles. Anybody that knows my mama knows she's loved crossword puzzles, word search. She will play Scrabble from now to Saturday if you let her. But she does it so that her brain can remain sharp. Any muscle that you do not use, it's going to become relaxed. If you don't use it for a while and then you have to use it, you're going to wake up in pain. Our brain is the same way. You got to exercise your mind. Because if you've been doing the same thing at your job for 6 months, it really doesn't take a whole lot of thinking to do your job now because you've adjusted to it. Your brain has adjusted to it. You're like, well, my job, it never changes. It's the same. Okay. Just because your job doesn't change doesn't mean you can't grow. Learn how to do what you're doing better. You have to find ways to challenge your mind. One way to challenge your mind, read stuff outside. I'm careful to say outside the word because it makes it seem like, well, you can't find it in the word. No, in addition to reading the word, find other literature to read. Subscribe to mailing lists. You want to be an entrepreneur, find some sites that send out weekly tips for entrepreneurs. You want to be a financial coach, sign up. Open up on the news app on your iPhone. Click it. Read what they're saying that's happening to the stock market. That's how you're going to grow. You want to become a better baker. Go get some recipes. Read them. Try them out. You have to do things to challenge your mind, because if you don't, like any other muscle, it's just going to become. You're just going to do everything out of routine. Oh, thank you, Holy Ghost. And that's when life becomes mundane and frustrating, because I'm doing the same thing every day. I don't have anything new happening. It's the same thing every day. I wake up, I go to work, I go to church, and I go home. I wake up, I go to work, I go to church, I go. It's just mundane. I'm not satisfied with life. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. We eat the same thing every week. It's spaghetti, it's chicken, it's fish. Okay. Learn how to cook something else on your time off. Instead of using your energy to complain, learn how to do something else. Okay. All right. I know tonight y'all wanted me to come with it. No. If your life is mundane, do something different. And it doesn't require you to come off it doesn't require you to walk in and quit your job. It doesn't require you to pack up and move to Illinois. No, implement something different in your schedule. You get up every morning at 6 o'clock and you start your day. Okay. Tomorrow, start getting up at 5. Start getting up at 5. From 5 to 5:30, read your word. From 5:30 to 6 o'clock, read something that's going to help your brain develop in the area that you want to develop in. And then 6 o'clock, go ahead and start your routine. I promise you your day will be different. We spend more time complaining than we do coming up with a strategy to make life different. I see the same thing every day. I go to work, I come home, every day. Drive a different way. Watch your attitude improve. Take a different route to work. because now your brain has to click in because it's seeing new stuff. You're exposing yourself to new scenery just by taking a different route to work. And then when you get to work, your communication will be different. Now you got something to talk about. I took the long way to work. And I didn't know there was a so-and-so over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you're engaging with people, and now you're practicing communicating. Because before, you would come to work going the same way. Nobody wanted to be bothered with you. You didn't want to be bothered with anybody else. Y'all just come and be quiet. Now you have something else to talk about because you've exposed yourself to something different. So now I get the opportunity to communicate. Oh, and now that I'm communicating, I can work on making my communication better. You see how this all fits together? This literally sounds like a conversation I have with my wife. Absolutely, Q. Absolutely. A lot of stuff we're fussing and complaining over, we could actually fix ourselves. That's another sermon for another day. All right, I've done my recap. Communication, great communication. Great communication is clear, consistent, concise. It's clear, concise, consistent. It's clear, concise, and consistent. If you're going to work on your communication this week, put a thumbs up in the chat, put a raised hand emoji, whatever. If you're going to work on your intentionally work on your communication. Another way to work on communication is to pay attention to yourself when you say, Rakiria Crawford gave me that challenge about 3 years ago. When you're speaking, notice how many times you say, when you get it ready to make your next point. Work on decreasing the amount of times that you use Thank you, Q. Thank you, Jay Rashad. Good to see y'all on here tonight. I hope this is helping. I hope this has been something that you can put in your storage for growth. I said I was going to mention the books. People who authors, those who write, those who want to write, never let your stuff die. Never let your stuff get old. This is the very first book that I wrote and published, Refocus Your Faith. And it's actually a devotional. You have 21 days. 21 days you read, and you can reflect on it. This is my first book. Second book, Serving Well. This one has recently regained traction. If you serve in any capacity, not just because I wrote it, but this is a good book. It's tips that you can actually implement today. If you read a tip today, you can go in and implement it tomorrow, and you'll see a difference with your team. I'm actually working on a curriculum for this. I'm working on it right now. Rakiria, I'm working on it right now because I'm going to offer something in the next month or two. And this was the third and final book, Morning Starters. I really didn't advertise this one too much, and I realized that today. So I'm going to have to go back and advertise it. It's really what we do in the mornings at 5:30. We have Morning Starters prayer at 5:30 a.m. every morning. What I did, I took some prayers, and you can start your day. It has a motivation for every day, and it has space for you. You can write your prayer for today. It has space for you to write your prayer for today. So yeah, authors, never let your stuff die. Reinvent it, add something to it, making it an expanded edition. Write a workbook to go with it. Listen, sell it as a set. Never let your stuff die. Definitely enjoyed teaching. Thank you. Jay Rashad, it's on. All three are on Amazon. All three are on Amazon. If you type my name in, they should come up. If you scroll back up tonight, the link for Serving Well is up in the comments. Um, but all three are on Amazon. Refocus Your Faith, Serving Well, and Morning Starters. They're all on Amazon. What I may do later on tonight, I'll put the links on my page. I appreciate you all for inquiring about that. I'll definitely put that on my page. I put all three links on my page. But be looking out the next month and a half, 2 months. I'm going to do a workshop. Um, I don't know if I want to do 2 days or one, but I am going to do a workshop, and going to have material that I'm teaching from that those who attend, those who register and attend, they will actually be able to take some content with them. So yeah, be looking out for that. It's coming soon. But I pray tonight that you all have enjoyed it. I pray that I've challenged you in some way so that you can grow. I pray God's favor over your life, over your business. I pray that those who are leading, I pray that God continues to give you the fortitude and the grace to lead. I pray that He gives you new strategies and implementation that you can take those who are following you to the next level. I pray that everyone's creative juices begin to flow. And I pray that what God has put you on the earth to do, I pray that you'll begin to walk in that purpose with power in the mighty name of Jesus. All right. I'll see you all next Wednesday. We are on Wednesday now. I'll see you all next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Be blessed tonight. Y'all stay safe, stay cool, and stay in the will of the Lord. See y'all next week. Good night.